This is the March 14th, 2025 meeting of the Acushnet Public Library Board of Trustees. We are being audio taped and videotaped, and we do have a quorum. First item on the agenda today is some minutes. The first one is for February 5th, and the second is for February 11th. Does anyone have any questions or comments on either one of those minutes?
Can we do a motion to accept both minutes at once?
We can.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept both minutes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Jerry, did you?
I
Okay.
did.
Thank you. Just making sure.
I can't do two things.
That's okay. I just want to make sure. All right. So we are good to go there. Next, we have the budget.
So our budget is going along smoothly. Right now, the next meeting, our longevity will be completely set. I have one more longevity payment that's coming out in the next pay period. And then I wanted to talk about materials. So I, this week, have spent out the materials line. If you recall from last year, I had a little bit of a panic because I was nowhere near the 16% that the library needs to spend on materials in order to remain certified and to receive state aid. So if I did my calculations correctly, right now I am at 64% of 16% of the material requirement. So I'm in good standing. We have a bunch of orders coming in from Ingram, so that's physical materials. And then towards the end of the fiscal year, I can definitely spend or use funds and put it into Hoopla, into Overdrive, because as you know, our e-resources, especially audiobooks, are very, 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 very popular. So I can put in money, credits into that. So I won't have a repeat of last year, so I'm happy. I won't have to panic. So that is basically it for the budget. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Ingram supplies us books, I assume?
Which one?
Physical books? No, Ingram.
Ingram.
Yes,
About Ingram.
yes.
And do they supply us other things as well, or just books?
I just use them to purchase books.
Okay.
They also sell audiobooks and so forth, but we haven't purchased audiobooks, physical CDs as pre-COVID. So they're strictly physical materials, adult, children, and YA materials.
And it looks like money in the longevity account moves on a periodic basis. It's not a constant, like a every month type of figure. It's moved quarterly or something.
It's moved in when a staff member has an anniversary.
Oh,
Yes, so-
okay, that's why it moves erratically.
Yes, yep, so, because everyone has different start dates.
Yeah.
So this last one for this fiscal year is, I think their anniversary date is March 28th.
Okay.
So that would be for next pay period, so that line will be spent out the next time we meet.
And I didn't mean erratically on a negative basis.
No, I didn't take it that way.
Okay. Some people would.
No.
Thank you.
And-
Random would have been a better word.
That's okay. My question is, are we still pretty regular on the energy? Was the energy still pretty good level this month?
It was, so I haven't received this month.
Okay.
So last month's, it was the highest,
Yep.
I believe, for this fiscal year, but that's because it was cold.
Cold.
So, speaking for January.
Yep.
The way they send the bills, it's not like the first of the month, so it's like half of each month.
Yeah.
Right.
But January it was pretty cold here. So we are in pretty good standing because, come February, April, May, June, those are our lowest energy months because we're not really fully into AC yet.
Right, and you're not
yes.
quite into we hope to be not into the heat either, so.
No, and then
Okay.
soon I will shut off the HVAC units that are not controlled except by a fuse panel downstairs in the hallways.
Yeah.
And I can't control the temperature for those, but those would be shut off probably next month.
So there wasn't too much of an increase that you saw for the January bill as far as.
I think it was just a few hundred compared to last year.
Okay, good.
But as we are all experiencing personally, you know, the energy bills have skyrocketed. So,
Right.
I mean, it's still high, but it's not a drastic high.
Okay.
And there was a cool stretch in February.
There was.
That
Yeah.
vacation
There was.
was tough.
Yep. That's right, it was vacation.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions on the budget? All right. We can get a motion.
I move we accept the budget.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have old business. We have the FY26 budget.
So, this Wednesday, I went to present the library's budget to the Finance Committee. There was a few questions after my presentation. So very quickly, I just put together some statistics of the library did in 2024. So it wasn't the fiscal year, it was just the complete year. I got some feedback that next year I should have comparisons to, you know, the previous year or previous 3 years. So that was some good feedback. I also presented the minimum standards, which I talked about at last meeting, and the MAR. And these were all handed out to each of the Finance Committee members plus the town administrator. Other than that, there was discussion about the telephone, so I explained that our fax machine it's for the public, it's not a private use fax machine. The energy line was discussed, and what was discussed was, you know, we're open a bigger range of hours compared to other town buildings. And plus, we're open on Saturday, and I don't know of any other facility that's open on Saturday in the town.
Just the recycling
It's not
center.
gonna be-
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I don't go there. I wouldn't. So, other than that, there wasn't much. There wasn't any other comments about the budget number that I presented. You know, they know about the MAR, what we do need to be or above at, and I appreciate the support. Jen was there, and that was basically it. So it was pretty straightforward, and we'll see how it goes from here.
So just so I have it clear in my head, we
Yes.
presented our budget,
Yes.
and do they have an approval process or an acceptance process?
So what they do is the FinCom will look at all the budgets and
Yep.
everything, right? And then they kind of just like see where everyone's at, and then, you know, once the FinCom will approve it, so will the selectmen, and then
Okay.
we kind of
And
go
then
from
it
there.
goes together.
But it just, right now, everyone's just, hey, these all look good, but then I guess it all depends on who needs what from anywhere else, like,
Right.
oh geez, we need to find, so then they might have to tweak everyone's budget to try to find money if they have to.
Well, with the information that you presented on MAR, it gives them a good understanding of how close
Correct.
we're running.
Yes.
to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Also, I thought
Yes.
it was good that Jamie mentioned that you had met with him 4 times.
Yes.
I just felt like, you know, we've already done this 4 times.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
So I thought that was good.
Yes.
well, it decreases surprises.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not asking for anything. You know, everything here
Right.
is contractual.
Yeah.
So, you know, they know what we need, and we'll see what happens.
And then I think the only question that
Yes.
we wanted to clarify at this meeting was they asked where the money we collect from the faxes and things, and I believe that goes into the revolving fund. So that was one of the questions that they said, well, hey, you collect the money from faxes,
Right.
so where does
And
it
you said
go?
your fund will revolve.
And it goes into goes to our revolving
okay.
fund. Yep, no, that's fine,
Yeah.
but it does go into the revolving
Well,
fund,
that's a
so
good
we'll
question.
just.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
no, it's a good
coming in,
question.
where
And
we
we,
need to go.
and we wanted to double check, just to
Yeah.
make sure, but I wanted to make sure
Yes.
that we clarified that here, like we're, you know, it goes right back into the revolving fund, so that's it. All right. Anyone else?
Terrific job.
Any questions? She did a fantastic job. She answered all the
I
questions.
was very nervous.
Yes, yes.
Well,
That was
it's-
great.
And who wouldn't be?
I know.
Well, you would, because you're sitting in front of people who supposedly have the financial experience to look at these things, and you want to make sure you're there and doing a good job.
And
Absolutely.
Very minorly, I said we had 500 active card holders, but no, we have 5,000. So that was big in my brain since then. When I watched the video, I was like, oh. But they had the sheets in
They
front of
did
them.
have the sheets in front of them, and they appreciate the handouts too, so, which is great. So, but they were very excited to see the statistics, but the comparison, I think, like,
Yes.
they were interested in whether or not, like, have the users of the library increased? Have we gone, and are we trending in that direction?
Yeah.
So I think that was why they were kind of looking at, like, these facts are amazing, but what does that mean in comparison to, like, last year?
Which is a good question.
Right, so I think that's why, Elizabeth
Yeah.
did.
Well,
And I already made a note for next year.
Yeah.
But based on what we're seeing, the growth that we're seeing, those are actually statistics that we want to present. because
Absolutely.
then,
Yes.
there isn't any perception that the library is contracting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So I think even if we provide the statistics, like, what it is that year, plus even 2 other years, you can even see, like,
The
hopefully the trends and then
Yeah.
increase, in what we're doing. So that's definitely, it was good. All right, anybody have any other questions on the FY26? All right, moving along to other old business, an update on the local cultural council awards.
So I sent out a few applications to local cultural grants in the area. It was Mattapoisett, New Bedford, Dartmouth, Fairhaven, Freetown, Rochester, and of course Acushnet. So the grant round is over, so I was awarded 3. So from Acushnet, we got 2,500. From Freetown, we got 350, and Rochester, we got 250. So these funds will be used for our summer concert series. Right now, we have 8 weeks scheduled for this summer, starting June 25th, I believe. So there's some, after the events, I have to submit an application, just fill out an application, program flyers, and then we get awarded a check. So I thank each of these towns for sponsoring library programming.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Great job.
Absolutely great. How much of the summer series does this cover? Would you, just as a guess?
Right, because some there's a couple of the summer concerts that are getting funded elsewhere.
Yes.
So I would say right now, maybe 80%.
That's terrific.
It is.
Right.
It is.
And
it is.
they are probably our biggest
Yes.
event.
Yes.
And people look forward to it.
Amen.
And and then even when
there.
even when you're out and you're just talking about, your affiliation like with the library, it's just like, oh, their concert series is, and it's ages little
Yes.
to older. It's fantastic. So.
And on the hottest days, there's always a breeze. And it's always comfortable.
Yep. And I think people look forward to it.
They do.
They
Oh my
do.
gosh,
They
yeah.
do. I mean, we get calls like, "Are you doing summer concert again this year?" Like, yes, we are.
Good.
We don't have a schedule yet, out there, but it will be happening, and I believe we have all 8 weeks booked, or we're waiting on confirmation of one, but still, like it's coming. It's there. We will have some repeats. So just to give you a little preview, we will have 60s Thunder again. Pearly Baker will also be here. Those are the big names that draw out the biggest crowds.
That's great.
And on the other side of this, I'm also doing children's programming for the summer, so I have a few things booked, and I just booked our little finale. So we'll have Hula La, which is a very interactive children's band
Oh, that's fun.
that come and perform and, bring props for the little ones. So, summer will be very, very busy here.
As always. All right, does anyone have any questions on the cultural grants? Thank you very much to Acushnet, Freetown, and Rochester for awarding us those grants, and thank you to you for putting in for them.
You don't know until you try. The worst they can say is no.
Absolutely,
Nope.
and it's great. Moving on to new business, we have a recent donation in memory of Nancy Willits.
So I received an application, a donation form on behalf of a teacher from the Ford Middle School who passed away. We received a check for $200 for books. So with this funds, and I plan on purchasing, there's a list here on the form of topics. Nancy was a teacher, a science teacher, so science-related topics. And what will happen is once approved, I will purchase books, and then we will put a plaque in each of the books saying in memory of. And basically, once that's completed, I will send a thank you letter to Mr. Eugene Wills, just thanking him for, the donation.
Yep.
So I just need approval on the donation and any questions about the donation. And I will be using Ingram for purchasing the children's books.
So I'll make a motion to accept and
Second.
acknowledge.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Just one quick
Yes.
comment as I sit here and had 3 kids go through the middle school. Nancy Willis was one of those quiet teachers who was incredibly competent. And she wasn't somebody who you see at the forefront of things, but man, you wanted your kid in her classroom.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yes.
That is definitely, and we thank you on behalf of the Library Board of Trustees. We do thank, Eugene and, Nancy's family for donating this money to the library on her behalf. And we have other business, which is, we don't have, do we have any
I
business?
do not, so
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna make that's gonna be our new addition to our agenda, because things happen
absolutely.
every second of the day.
Absolutely.
So, but I don't have anything
We
to
can
report.
move on to the director's report.
All right, so the director's report. I will say, I have to make a note of this, just because it was so crazy to see, because we've had Lego Club here for
Years.
7 years at this point. I think it started when I started. The first time I started here as a part-time tech. So we had over 30 people in the Lego Club during winter break. And it was so packed and exciting that I suggested that some children, if they wanted to, could go sit in the YA area, because it was pretty wild. So we always have Lego Club, so I'll make sure to put some more during spring vacation in April. I want to point out that Lori went to do, she read a book out loud to the 2nd graders at the Acushnet Elementary School for Read Across America. I believe she read a Dr. Seuss book. So, Dina's vision for the full-time librarian was to have them do outreach, and Lori has been doing it. This is her 3rd time at the school doing story time in front of children. So, it's come to fruition here, so it's exciting. Lori also sent the flyers for programming in the library for the newsletter for the school.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the schedule for how they send out the newsletters at the school, but they've been approved, and the parents should be on the lookout for them in the school newsletter.
And I can tell you that they have been in the newsletter,
Excellent.
and
All right.
at least I can
Yes.
attest that they've been there for the
Yes.
middle school anyway.
Yes.
And we usually get a newsletter every maybe 1 to 2 weeks or so.
Okay, that's good to
So,
know.
yep, and they attach the flyer, right?
Yep.
Yep,
Excellent.
yep, excellent.
Excellent. I mean, it's, we just send them in an email, so it's
Yeah.
pretty painless.
Yep. I would just make sure that it says that it's here at the library. Because if they're attaching things with to the newsletters
Yes.
with the school,
Yes.
they may think that the
That
club
is
is at the school.
Yes.
So if we just make sure that it's at the library, then I
Okay.
think
Okay.
there won't be any people showing up
So-
at the school for your book club.
Why? Open on Saturday.
Right, exactly. So I'm pretty sure that people can can figure it out, but you never know, especially if you're reading it quick.
Yes.
So I would just make, that would be the
Okay.
only thing I would
I will
mention.
make note and see what we sent along to see, make sure our address.
Yeah, I would just make
At
sure,
Acushnet
yep,
Library or
at the,
something.
yeah, at the Acushnet Library, and then
Mhm.
that would be good. Yep, fantastic.
Yes.
Good. I bet you some of the kids are recognizing Lori too.
Yes, yes.
As
They,
she's going to the
they
school.
come in here and they're like talking to their guardian, like,
That's Miss Lori.
school. You know?
That's great. Fantastic.
Yes. So I just wanted to say that Rick attended a OSHA training that was put on by the town through OSHA, and that was on February 25th. So he was at the police station that day during his shift. So
Oh, okay.
yes, and he received a certificate. I told him to put it on his refrigerator.
There you go. All right.
Let's see. I'll get to the door in a second, but I just want to point out that in February, the beginning of February, Brady and a student from Old Colony were in the library touching up paint that wasn't touched up last summer. So the staff entryway, the stairs, the white trim was touched up. The railings, I guess, right underneath the windowsills in the main area of the library was touched up. This room was touched up on the bottom. They did a terrific job sprucing up the place. And then Brady this morning he took down the Christmas lights that have been there since COVID. So they're finally down. But we appreciate that they were here, doing some touch-ups, and we, on the building note, we had, so during winter vacation, there was some nasty winds here. So what happened was our door on the patron side, the deck side right here, blew off not the hinges, but the mechanism that's on top of the door that, allows it to go, not smash into the building.
Yep.
So that completely broke off. So I had Rick, he temporarily, was able to put it in. Because it was winter vacation, I know we were going to have a lot of patrons with strollers. So I did not want to lock that door. Unfortunately, it didn't last. It broke again. So the door was hitting the building, and that's all I needed was for the glass to break, the door to break. So I had to, that afternoon, I had to lock that door, so you only could access the building through the front. So the following day, I had a genius idea of putting one of our giant water bottles behind the door so that the door could be open, but it won't slam against the building. So it worked.
Yep.
And then it was like that per day. And then I did reach out to Town Hall to see if Brady could come, but he wasn't in until later that week. So it remained unlocked, so you could use it. It's just there was a giant water bottle behind it. And then John, our trustee, came in to grab some books, and I kind of picked his brain, and he fixed it for us in 5 minutes.
Awesome.
So yes. So I appreciate
Thanks, John.
the fix, and it's been fine. It's back to where it should be. But it was pretty windy that week, and it was really wild, and I think it's just the direction of the wind, like it threw it off. Oh, it threw it off. So back to that door. So when I met with Serped in January, I mentioned accessibility and how we need an automatic door opener on the door. At the meeting, it was mentioned that the Council on Aging had one put in. So I, in the beginning of this month, finally went to visit the Council on Aging to drop off March calendars for the library and flyers for other events at the library. And I discussed with Lauren the door, how it came there. So it was actually a grant that was done by the previous Council on Aging director, and the equipment was there, it just was never installed. So, yes, so I, trying to look to see what grant it was, what can we do to, apply for it. And then earlier last week, there was an email sent out about the town looking into ADA grants for townwide to, have all properties be compliant with ADA. If I am remembering correctly, I believe this building had a so-called inspection for ADA compliance, because right before my arrival, or a few months before my arrival, it sounded like someone came in and noticed that the underneath the sinks needed like a insulated item around the pipes, and that was done.
Yes.
So I don't know if
I can't remember. I think that was because there was an issue with the bathroom, though. I don't think they did.
no. Okay.
I don't believe so. Do you remember, Steve?
I don't.
I remember. Do you remember? I remember that it was under the sink, and it was afraid of someone like that was in a wheelchair,
Right.
like burning their leg on the hot water pipe.
Yeah.
But I
But
want to
you go
say
past
that was a result of something happening. Like, I think Dina might have asked for something to be fixed in the bathroom, and when they were doing that,
Somebody noticed.
I think that, and then they had said, hey,
Yes.
we need to do
Okay.
this. I'll look back
Okay.
on my notes for that,
Okay.
but
I think that
pretty
sounds
sure
right.
Okay.
that
I
it
think
was
started
not
with that. It
building
said
wide.
something.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's some way we could have something done, right? Like an ADA compliant audit, I guess, would you call
I
it?
believe, I wouldn't see how when we moved here that wouldn't have been done. In order to open the building, I feel like that
I
would
would
have
agree with that.
been
Right.
I would assume you would have had to admit what it was.
Yeah, maybe the automatic door is just, it's not essential, but I know we need it because I see
Absolutely.
people struggling, trying to open, and especially if it's windy, trying to open the door and you're pushing a stroller or you're pushing a walker or a wheelchair.
Well, and then you're at the front door and you have two doors.
Yes.
So by the time you're trying to get into the first door, there's not that much
There's
room to
not
go
much.
into the
No,
second door.
So I don't think that space could have the automatic door arm. I think this one, I don't know, this
Well,
part
it doesn't hurt to ask.
And
Yes.
the positive psychology about that is you might have somebody who has somebody disabled in their family in a wheelchair. They come here and say, they don't say, gee, I wish, but they think as they walk through, boy, it would be hard for me to bring that person. But if the door's there, then they're thinking, boy, this is a great thing for us.
Right, exactly.
It does make more sense because your ramp is huge.
Yeah.
Yes, yep. The only concern, we know that something is slanting on the deck. I don't know if it's sinking or what, so there is a little bit of a gap. So, but you could put some type of thing on
Right.
the threshold,
Right.
but that's beyond
So
my,
it's not, yeah.
I don't have any construction knowledge.
No, but you're quickly becoming a very qualified building
Yes, you are.
facilities manager,
Yeah,
Elizabeth. You're-
I will say I've learned a lot
I did not
outside the
realize
library.
that much of this to that
Yeah.
job,
There's a
especially
lot of
bathroom
this.
construction.
Yes,
Yeah.
bathroom, I can shut off a urinal now.
Never thought you'd be able to do
No.
Well,
that.
when you spoke earlier
Yes.
about turning off the heat, the last time we discussed it, it was, well, I think maybe, but today the confidence was
You're
there.
right.
You've done it. I mean,
I've done it,
clearly.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things that is now in the back of my brain for
Yeah.
forever. So, I expect to have more information,
Okay.
coming forward regarding
Great.
the door, but, and that's it for the director's report. I can go into, let me get the calendar. Good job. So, in fact, my calendar with me. So next week, we will have Moana 2 on Wednesday and Saturday. So Wednesday is an early release day for Acushnet students. It's at 2 o'clock, and then on Saturday, we will be showing it at 1:30. No, 12:30. Sorry, I don't have my calendar with me.
It's all right.
I'm not gonna discuss April or spring vacation events yet because they're still in the works and we'll meet before that. We will, this Monday, South Coast Rail, there will be a representative here at the library to discuss the rail project and if anyone has any questions, and this is this Monday at 6. Yes.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. They will be here to discuss the project, and if you have any questions about the project, please come in and discuss with them. And then it's hard when I don't have a calendar in front of me.
I assume that, are you gonna put that out on social media about the rail project?
It is out there. There is an
Okay.
event on Facebook. It was put out in neighborhood news.
Yep,
Our newsletter.
yep.
I think there's a flyer out here.
And yes,
Yep.
in-house also.
I figured that to
Yes.
remind everyone it would
Yes.
be out.
And
on
I'll
Facebook
probably,
post it
post
Monday
it
something.
or put something there so that it comes up
Yeah.
in the news feeds again.
Yeah, perfect.
'Cause
That seems to be a hot topic, especially
Yes.
for people,
Absolutely.
around
Yes.
the schedules, the parking, the time it takes to get places.
Lori is taking a break from story time for the next 2 weeks, so there won't be any story time on Wednesdays just for 2 weeks, and then she'll resume a spring story time.
Oh, good.
That's basically it. Any questions?
No?
Sorry, I didn't bring my.
That's all right.
We all should go find and memorize the calendar.
All right, if nobody has any questions, can we set the next meeting date? Is it okay if we do it on a Friday again? Does that work
course.
for everyone?
Well, for me, I did,
I'm looking at Friday, April 11th at 11:30, if that works. Or if that time doesn't work, I can be flexible on the time, whatever.
That works.
That works? Okay.
11:30?
11:30, does that work for you?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Friday, April 11th at 11:30. Perfect, thank you. And if we have no other business,
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This March 14th, 2025 meeting of the Acushnet Public Library Board of Trustees is officially adjourned. It is 12:10. Thank you.